that here, in this August, the grass is hearty, the sky friendly, the wind in the windsock, birds are competitive, the hills of home are in their accustomed places, and all is accounted for. All is accounted for except the farmer's boy and the mill hands who live near the canal, and the young men from the city block where the gutters fry in summer. One lies with an ocean across his chest at the bottom of an Arctic deep. Another sleeps with sand in his eyes where he fell on a beach at Palau. The bones of the fisherman rest in clay far from the rocks of Maine, and the miner's kid is under the ground of China. The cricket sings in the summer night, but the soda clerk says nothing. The fawn leaps in the wolf-proof wood, but the jungle roots twine the postman's feet. The turtle is young at 61, but the flyer is dead at 18. Remember them. Oh, when July comes round and the shimmer of noon excites the locusts, when the pretty girls bounce as they walk in the park and the moth is in love with a 60-watt bulb and the tar on the road is blistered, they've given their noons to their country. They've trusted their girls to you. They are face to face with an ally's earth for a bunch of tomorrows. Remember them. Oh, in the fall of the year, when frost airbrushes the withering leaf, and the silo is fat as a bearing woman, and the cleats in the backfield dig up gains to the praise of the stadium, when the number one goose says it's time to go, and the flock points a V to the south. They've given their seed to 48 states, their football tickets to you. The shirt on their back is a worm-cut rag for silks and breads and bomblessness. For kids, unplanned today, who will play ghosts and Tojo every Halloween. Remember them. Oh, in the sleeting months, when the sap stands cold in the veins of the tree, and the bottle of milk on the frozen door stoop raises its cap to the morning, when the skating girls eddy like snow on the rink, and the storm window, hooked on the prairie farmhouse, mutters in the gale out of Idaho. They've spilled their blood for the rights of men, for people the likes of me and you, and they ask that we do not fail them again in the days we are coming to.
You have been listening to 14 August, a message for the day of victory, written, directed, and produced by Norman Corwin, and spoken by Orson Welles. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, depending upon whom you listen to, 14 August was written first as a very quick thing after the atomic bomb hit, and would 5 days later be expanded to a 30-minute version, which Orson Welles would do with Olivia de Havilland. There are other people who say that God and uranium were on our side was recorded first or written first and then compressed. See, and I don't see that as making any sense whatsoever. What I can tell you is I have just, within the last few minutes, gotten a copy of God and Uranium Were on Our Side. And we will have that for you coming up on the 79th anniversary of it airing, August 19th, 1945. That'll be coming up in just a couple of days. So there you go. 14 August, as it was originally broadcast, and you have to admit, it is a compelling work. From 79 years ago, August 14th, 1945, on CBS, moving and dramatic. Now, we are going to, first, before I do anything else, I want to tell you what's coming up tomorrow, and I need to do that. We will have George Raft in a radio role, Rocky Jordan headlining that program, as that was originally broadcast 73 years ago, August 15th, 1951, Man in the Nile. Also an episode of Suspense starring John Dehner, A Friend to Alexander, an adaptation of the James Thurber story of a very personal reaction to the Hamilton-Burr duel. We'll also have an episode of Counter Spy from Don McLaughlin, Mandel Kramer, one of the few episodes that we have that aired on ABC. This will be from 74 years ago, August 15th, 1950. And an episode of X-1 at the Post from 67 years ago, August 15th, 1957. We'll wrap the whole episode up with another installment of Superman and Dr. Roebling and the Voice Machine. Bud Collyer as Clark Kent, Joan Alexander as Lois Lane. And while I've heard some of Joan's radio work, I know her best for her time on the ABC television program, and I'm a game show nut. You know, in addition to an old radio nut, I'm a game show nut. She was on an ABC show that was helmed by Robert Q. Lewis, and it was called The Name's the Same. Attractive lady and somewhat bright, and we will hear Superman coming up on our Thursday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We will step away from the VJ Day remembrances and pray for all the people who gave their lives in the pursuit of winning World War II. And we will go to an episode of Mystery in the Air starring Peter Lorre next, The Lodger.
Now attention please, all passenger car owners. The Office of Defense Transportation has asked us to give you this message. This is National Tire Registration Week. To keep our American transportation system safe and working, the government is asking you and me to register all tires of passenger cars during the coming week. This means you register all tires of your passenger car, including the spare and any others you may have, without delay. For to get a new gasoline rationing book, or to keep the one you already have, you must register your tires first. You can get an official registration blank at your local rationing board, your garage, auto club, or at any filling station. Then when you've listed all your tires, file your registration form with your rationing board. Or if you live in the West or Middle West, present it when applying for your gas rationing coupon. Remember, the government ruling is you must register your tires or you cannot get any gas. So act tomorrow to register yours.
We move away from World War II to an episode of Mystery in the Air. It was the summer replacement series replacing Abbott and Costello, who would move after this series to go to ABC. But let's listen to this. Billed as Henry Morgan, but was actually known this today as Harry Morgan, the announcer on this show, August 14th, 1947, 77 years ago today, The Lodger.
Mystery in the Air, starring Peter Lorre, presented by Camel Cigarettes.
All right, men. I guess that's all. Put him on the stretcher and take him to the morgue.
Oh, must I stay, Inspector?
For a while, Mrs. Bunting.
Oh, dear.
I need all the details for my report.
Oh, that such a thing could have happened here. Here in my own house.
Each week at this hour, Peter Lorre brings us the excitement of the great stories of the strange and unusual, of dark and compelling masterpieces culled from the four corners of world literature. Tonight, The Lodger by Mrs. Belloc Lowndes. Peter Lorre is the lodger, and Ellen Bunting is played by Miss Agnes Moorehead.
Mystery in the Air, brought to you by Camel Cigarettes. Experience is the best teacher. Try a Camel. Let your own experience tell you why more people are smoking Camels than ever before. Yes, let your T-Zone decide which cigarette you like best. Your T-Zone, that's T for taste and T for throat, is your true proving ground for any cigarette. So try a Camel on your T-Zone. Introduce Camel's rich, full flavor to your taste. Acquaint your throat with Camel's cool mildness. See if you don't decide, like so many other smokers, that Camels suit your T-Zone to a T.
Go on, Mrs. Bunting. You said you were looking for a lodger?
Yes, Inspector, we had to. But I never dreamed such a thing could happen here, to us. Why, it was only last Tuesday night my husband and I were sitting before our fire reading the newspaper about the latest murder. It was the theft by the Avenger. Yes, I remember saying distinctly, Robert, this Avenger person, you know, he could be the fellow standing next to you, or maybe the man you bump into. It's a terrible thought.
Yes, but it appears to me that the Avenger's too quick for the police.
And look here, it says this girl he got last night was like all the others, pretty blonde, and she'd just come from a music hall, exactly like all the rest of his victims. Oh, what a pity.
Ellen, have you stopped to think who fits that description perfectly? Our own Daisy.
Oh, shush, what a pretty thought, Bunting. It's a good thing she's with her aunt instead of here. London isn't a safe place for any girl now.
Just the same, I can't help thinking how fine it'd be to have her here with us.
Well, there's no sense even talking about it. We just can't afford it.
I know that, Ellen, but I hope we could manage it some way.
How? Haven't I scrimped myself half crazy trying to keep us going?
I know, Ellen. Well, don't you go worrying about it. I think we can...
Who do you suppose that could be?
Could it be someone looking for a room?
Oh, I wish it were. Then you could have your Daisy back. Well, I went to the front door, and when I opened it, there stood a man wearing a black cape and hat. He carried but a single piece of luggage. Good evening, sir.
I saw your sign. It says you have a room to rent.
Yes, sir. Please, won't you come in?
Thank you.
Could I take your cape, sir?
No, I'm looking for a quiet room. But it should be very quiet.
Oh, we have that, sir. Just that. Above all, our house is quiet.
Good.
Your bag, sir. May I take it?
No, just show me the room, please.
Oh, yes, sir. It's right up these stairs, sir. This way.